Men wearing dresses part 3. Now, shout out to homeboy Master Student. I follow him on Twitter. Excellent breakdowns. Follow him on Twitter if you are on Twitter. We don't call it X. The only X I know is followed by 2 more X's. That's the only X I know. Okay. It's only X or DMX. The only X's I know are followed by 2 more X's or DMX. All right. He postulates the history of men in dresses. And I've been saying this, it's time to walk away from the discussion of black men in dresses as, you know, another way to buck break black, specifically black men, when all the course throughout human history, men have always, you know, dressed in drag and makeup and dresses as a sign of duality, right? Because a lot of times the women weren't allowed to do this. The men did this, right? But he presents in this thread, I agree. I agree. I personally didn't, you know, once again, this is my opinion, but I want you guys' thoughts on his build. This is his build. Master Student on Twitter. Shout out to him. Okay. So this man, he has a background in theater. So let's get to his thread. It says, as I told you before, I took theater in college twice because I had a love. Walt Diddy, I want you in this. Definitely Walt Diddy. I want to get your take on this. He says, as I told you before, I took theater in college twice because I had a love for film and art. So I learned a lot about the Renaissance era of theater. I learned about the climax and how important dialogue is and how open-ended endings work and how to put a film into context. So with this knowledge and my own love for poetry and art and reading, I can bring so many great threads. Okay, on film. Now here we go. So the origin. Okay, many people watch film, but they don't know film history, and they haven't studied the Renaissance era in Europe from the 1300s to the 1600s. Because if you did, one thing you would know is in those times, women could not be on stage as actors until the mid 1600s. Once again, I'm not here to change anybody's religion, opinion, or disposition. I'm presenting information to you guys, whether it resonates with you. If not, cool. Either way. But let's continue. So male actors would dress up as women and play women characters. The duality aspect of it, okay? In the theater, great characters are written to show duality or to represent duality. Human represents duality. Nature also represents duality. Masculine energy versus feminine energy. These are dualities. Now, Formrunner, I'm sure Formrunner would disagree. Formrunner would say masculine principles versus feminine energy. I agree. I've never really understood the concept of masculine energy. It's a set of principles, rules, regulations, standard operating procedure, protocol, if you will. Not an energy per se, right? Okay, so this is where I disagree with Master Student. Okay, these are dualities that all humans possess. A woman can show masculine energy and feminine energy. A man can show feminine energy and masculine energy. Think of the Sphinx, animal body, human face. Let's continue. Let's see. Here we go. Black men did not create the game of basketball. It is a European American game at origin. So that's why you have trophies named after the European American basketball game inventor. Black Americans may have took the game to new heights, but it existed before our participation. And when we did join the game, we played by the rules that existed before us joining. Okay, see where he's going with this? I do. Just like basketball, we did not create theater, so we don't make the rules. In the 1800s, theater introduced blackface. It was a way to use black characters in plays and later films without hiring black performers, and this style of play was also used for xenophobic ideals about black people that were anti-black at a very racist time in history. Nobody disputes that. Okay, back to Shakespeare in Europe. From the 1300s to the 1600s, in the theater art world, you had a lot of gender fluid lifestyle going on. It was a known thing. Old Greco-Roman lifestyle also had a gender fluidity element, and you can see it in the art from this time period. Even the 300 army was known to be gender fluid in times of war. a tactic used to care more for their fellow soldier. Let's continue. Let's take a look inside a $300 illustration history book on the great artist and inventor, multi-genius Leonardo da Vinci. Inside this book, and along with Walter Isaacson's biographical novel on him, you will find that Florence, Europe, around this time, 1400s to 1500s, this lifestyle of being gender fluid was big in the art scene, and it had always been. One thing we know, this whole art renaissance era in Europe was indeed full of gay or bisexual artists. So art and being gender fluid or dual seems to be a common theme in the European art world. As we fast forward to the 1900s, we see many actors who may not portray being gay or gender fluid on screen, but live the lifestyle in real life. During the Black art, and here we go, Harlem Renaissance, as Black Americans now get more into the arts, theater, poetry, painting, also see gender fluid element amongst many of the artists. And we all know the Black Renaissance, basically the Black Renaissance was the coming out of Black gay folk. That's not disputed. Okay. Let's continue. Corlex, I thought we invented everything. Go. I'm gone. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. The Three Stooges used to have a set where the three men would dress up as women for laughs. As we know now, the origin of this seems to go back to old Europe and the Renaissance era between the 1300s and the 1600s. The old European art tradition of male actors playing women is prevalent in theater. It is just as it has always been. Many male actors who went to acting school know the history, while some don't. Through the 80s art era in NYC and LA, you find that many of these artists were gender fluid, such as Basquiat and Madonna, Keith, and also many more, music and painters. Religion and other ways of life have always taught against this lifestyle. So religious people do not agree with same-sex anything or dressing up as the opposite sex, even if it's just for artistic purposes. And this is what Marlon Wayans was speaking to. Okay, let's continue. Now, this is where it gets deep. The great Marvin Gaye grew up in the church. His father was very religious, but his father was also a cross-dresser, so he battled with his sexuality. He was also never supportive of Marvin's music, as he thought it was not for the Lord's standards. Marvin began to battle drugs. Marvin was also gender fluid. One day, over an argument, his own father would shoot and kill him. Let's continue. Let's see. So we do know that many white male and Hispanic male actors have all participated in carrying out the tradition that comes from the European Renaissance era. A young Larry Elder debating Dr. Coakley on the film world having a conspiracy against black people. Larry says that black Americans are giving white Americans too much credit, and that the issue that black positive films are rarely made because of lack of black filmmakers with enough funding. Also, big studios playing it safe as they do today, while Coakley believed that the film industry is anti-black and goes out of its way to only show blacks in their worst behavior and even make blacks wear dresses. This was in the 90s. So let's take a listen.
Astounded, Mr. Coakley, that you believe in some sort of coordinated, organized conspiracy. I got news for you. White people ain't that smart. And to suggest that there's some sort of meeting every Friday downtown at the Federal Building where all of the executives of television and all the newspaper editors and all of the magazine editors and all the executives in film studios all get together to figure out how to hold the black man down is paranoia, and it consigns a kind of powerfulness to whites that they do not have, and it consigns yourself a powerlessness, all out of proportion with reality. I have a friend who just graduated a few years ago from USC Film School. There were 30 other people who graduated. She just finished financing her film. I gave her some money to do it. And I said, of the grads in your class, the 30 grads, how many of them wanted to make a movie? She said, why, everybody. That's why we went to film school. We all wanted to make films. I said, how many have in fact made a film? She said, one. Me. Many of them were friends and relatives of people in Hollywood. Most of them were white. And the point is, it is a difficult, difficult process.
Okay.
And if you aren't willing, as I said earlier, to beg, to borrow, to steal, to sacrifice, to suffer, it's not going to happen. But it is a process for everybody. I belonged to a club in Cleveland a few years ago, and there was a black man who taught me how to shoot pool a lot better than I shot before. And one day during the Jesse Jackson campaign for president, he said, "Larry, what do you think of the prospects for president for our Reverend Jesse Jackson?" Now, I wasn't quite sure how to respond to that because he wasn't my candidate. And I said, you know, because of the way he said it, I knew he supported him. I didn't want to offend him. I wanted to maintain our friendship, and this wasn't about politics. And so I said, well, you know, I just don't think he's qualified. And he said, much to my surprise, "Larry,
You're right.
neither do I.
Neither do I, exactly.
Reverend Jackson is in the we shall overcome business. And you know what? We done overcome."
Oh.
So, Mr. Copley, I think the difference between the two of us is one of us thinks of himself as a victor, and one of us thinks of himself as a victim. I believe in the work ethic. I believe in making sure that we take back our schools, which are failing our children. I believe that we should call off the war on drugs, which is ensnaring many of our young...
Wait, Larry's been saying this. He's been saying this for a long time now. He's never wavered in his position. And you know, when it comes to the family and, you know, what we need, he's been saying this for a while. So I give him credit for that.
Black men behind bars for a useless war that is not working. I believe that the welfare state has created an epidemic of dependency and illegitimacy that Mr. Farrakhan has spoken out against. And I believe affirmative action says, I can't make it on my own. I need a boost. I'm inferior. Something Minister Farrakhan also...
Okay. Let's continue. Now, this is where I think he's going to lose a lot of y'all. He says black men wearing dresses in film is not actually a conspiracy to emasculate black men in theater, as much as it is an old European Renaissance era tradition where the artists didn't allow women to be on stage, so the actors dressed like women. So black actors who embrace old European art also inherit this element. Let's continue. Let's talk hip hop and European fashion. This is where I need Ty City, because Ty City be like, because Ty City had said this a while back, like all your designers are gay, right? All your fashion designers, your top fashion designers are gay. Let's continue. Tupac gets introduced to Madonna in '93 and they date. Madonna is one of the world's biggest stars at this time, and she's connected to the European high-end designer fashion world. And through this relationship with Tupac, she introduces Tupac to Versace himself, and he admires Tupac's beauty and stature and wants to design high-end designer fashion pieces for Tupac, and he wants him to walk the runway in Europe as a model. Hence, go back to the picture of him in the tub, right? Hold on. Okay, my bad. All right. Go back to Tupac in the bathtub covered in gold, right? Let's continue. Okay. Then, for Tupac, he wants him to walk the runway in Europe as a model. Many think the Dapper Dan era was official high-end designer, but it actually was not. So Tupac was the first rapper to ever be connected to high-end designer brands, and he brought it in the game. Let's continue. Tupac goes to Europe. By the way, Versace was a gay European high-end designer in the art world. By 94, 95, 96, you've been seeing to see Tupac only wearing nothing but high-end designer European fashion brands, Valentino, Versace, etc. Exclusive pieces, even high-end designer sneakers in 1996. Okay, let's continue. Pac continues to shit on the game with his high-end designer pieces. Biggie and Diddy start trying to rock high-end European designer brands too now, but they're not wearing a specifically custom-made pieces and walking European runways like Pac. Now it's all about Versace. Copy my style. 5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it and smiled. You know, let's go through the pictures. Let's go through the pictures, shall we? Valentino suit, shirt. Okay. This shit looks bigged out now to me, but I get it. Okay, let's go through the more other pictures. Okay, let's continue. Bokeem Woodbine. Right, the Versace underwear, right? Versace underwear. Okay. Let's see. Versace shirt. Okay. All right, let's continue. Here we go. Tupac, Gemini, two sides, duality. Tupac went to an art school with Jada, and in the art world, artists usually respect differences amongst other artists, race-wise, style-wise, sex-wise, etc. So Tupac was around gender-fluid people. Growing up, he's an art kid, just like Jada. Also, Tupac's mother had gay friends. So as Tupac is connecting more and more with the art world, you're seeing Pac do things that are pushing boundaries with society's standards of masculinity at the time. Although he is carrying the street niggas demeanor, he is also wearing a nose ring, and he is cool with gender fluid fashion designers and well-known gay photographers. Right? Because there's nothing gangsta about this, right? There's nothing G about this, right? This is not masculine, right? Remember when people got on LL for who? No, was it LL? Somebody posted for Playgirl magazine, right? Who was the rapper that posed for Playgirl magazine back in the day? Let's continue. As years flew by, European high-end fashion fully takes over hip-hop thanks to Tupac and the other Gemini, Kanye West, and Virgil Abloh, he rest in peace, and Pharrell. And later on, A$AP Rocky, who was always into high-end European fashion, but said him and his friends used to get their sexualities questioned because of their style of fashion. Remember the dress or the long-ass t-shirt that A$AP Rocky wore on 106 in Park? It was a $1,500 long ass t-shirt. It was a long ass tank top. Remember that? Okay, let's continue. Let's go through the pictures. There's Virgil, Kanye. Okay, let's continue. All right, okay. Tyler. Okay. Gunna. All right. Okay, there's A$AP in some crazy looking ass shirt. Okay, let's continue. As Thug got more into high-end European fashion, we seen him even put on a dress. We seen him even and showed artistic duality fashion-wise. But this is old European Renaissance art era. We are guests in their culture, so we don't understand it fully. Okay, this Young Thug. Remember the infamous poster cover of him in a dress. Let's continue. Let's continue. So, as you see, even outside of the film world, black men are wearing dresses and skirts and handbags because they are into high-end European fashion. And high-end European fashion has a gender-fluid history when it comes to art and artists. Russell Westbrook, yeah? Who is that? I forget who that guy is. This nigga he's not Irish. He damn sure ain't Celtic. But come on, let's continue. Everybody, Kid Cudi paying homage to Kurt Cobain because Kurt Cobain wore this exact same dress during a performance many years ago before he died. Okay, yes. I don't know who that guy is. Okay, some of y'all know who he is. Okay, let's continue. So, many black actors, like all male actors, seem to carry the tradition of all the old European Renaissance art world. Yeah? Leading us to this. That's the, okay, right? Okay, everybody remembers that episode with Chris Rock. Oh my God. Leading us to this. Recently, Cat Williams had brought up once again the conspiracy that Hollywood only allows black comedians to succeed if they put on a dress, and he refuses to because of his own reasons, and he feels he's been outcasted because of it. Is that true? Who knows? Maybe it is. But what we do know is that theater has an old origin. dating back to Greco-Roman times and then the Renaissance era in Europe of 1300s to 1600s. And women could not be on stage. So the tradition of men dressing up and playing as women on stage is not just a target on black men or black actors. That's conspiracy. It's just not black American culture or white American culture. So many Americans don't understand it, especially black, unless we have studied theater and old European art. We would not understand it. Okay, let's continue. Film art knowledge. Now, art can be used to create propaganda as we've seen with the blackface era. Shakespeare also did this tactic during the Renaissance era when he created plays with Moorish black leaders married to European women. And by the end of the story, the Moorish leader would spiral in an emotional jealous rage and kill his European wife. Othello comes to mind. This tactic inspires my album Othello's Child in the New World, where the theme is that record labels have used art images through hip hop to destroy the black American man's image with the help of the black American man himself. So that's what the art represents in these paintings. The black American woman's image is now being destroyed also by the labels. I mean, shit. He's on point so far. Okay, I'm gonna make this his own video. I'm dying to get y'all's comments and thoughts on this. What say y'all? Shout out to Master Student on Twitter. What say y'all? That's right, Kinky Boots. I was working promo for that. I was on the campaign trail for that thing. I was on a promo for that thing. Yeah, Chiwetel Elijah Ford. Kiki Boots. Soundtrack is, he sang all the songs. Once again, I'm not here to change anybody's religion, disposition, or opinion. I'm just presenting stuff to y'all. What you take from it is great. What you don't that's okay as well.